Reinforcements en route. Immediate medical assistance needed. Civilians in distress. Detecting additional hostile contacts. Civilians in distress. Vital signs critical. Civilians in danger. Heavily armored hostile detected. Supply room access unlocked.
Hello, I'm Agent Ghost and welcome to the Archives, and today I'm excited to bring you my highest damage one-shot build yet. It's super crazy and I'm having a lot of fun with it. Another thing I want to bring up is I'm just excited that tomorrow is my birthday, so I'm going to have a lot of fun chilling with family and friends. Just wanted to say that just because I'm excited. Anyway, without further ado, let's move on to the build breakdown. So starting things off with the specialization, I'm using the sharpshooter specialization for the extra headshot damage it provides, as well as long as you stay in cover for, I think it's 20 or 30 seconds, You'll start regenerating ammo for your marksman rifle, and you'll get increased stability and handling with marksman rifles and rifles. So that's why I'm using this specialization. You can use whatever you want, but I'd recommend using sharpshooter. Now, moving on to the weapons, I am using the White Death marksman rifle. It's the named it's one of the best, or the best named marksman rifle in the entire game, in my opinion. And you can farm countdown or keep an eye out for named caches and things like that to try and get one. For mine, I have damage targets out of cover rolled in the regular attribute. You can pause and take a look at the other attributes, but I have that because that's the highest multiplicative attribute in the entire game currently, as well as I have the talent rolled Determined, and what Determined does, which is essential in any one-shot build pretty much, is after killing an enemy with a headshot, the next shot landing on an enemy will be a guaranteed headshot. So what that looks like is, for example, let me, whoops, just shoot that, and if I get a headshot, boom, that counted as a headshot. You can see the skull that's determined. The next time I shoot a body, or shoot them anywhere, it doesn't have to be necessarily in the body, it will count as a headshot. And so it's very nice to make just life that much easier to consistently land headshots and ramp up damage. And we'll go more into detail about ramping up the damage later on in the build. I have the long optics digital scope. I forgot to mention that in the specialization. You also get access to that, so make sure you unlock the digital scope through the sharpshooter specialization. Very important. There are the rest of my mods. If you are interested, you can copy and paste. Now moving on to the exotic, I'm using the Nemesis exotic marksman rifle. You have to get this exotic through an exotic quest line, and I will leave a link down in the description below, a guide on how to get it. You don't have to use this. You can use whatever secondary you want. Another secondary that I love using, you could also use the chameleon or an assault rifle, what have you. I love to use the apartment SMG or any type of SMG that fits your fancy, like the Vector SBR 45 is another great one if you don't want a named one, because the apartment is a Dark Zone exclusive, so you can only get that in the Dark Zone vendors, named caches, and conflict caches. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, I'm using this to build up my stacks, which we'll go into a little bit later, or more detail. But Perfect Headhunter requires you to build up stacks with headshots. This is a great way to get your stacks fully built up and do a lot of damage to the Nemesis. It's really great for if you don't have any stacks built up, just to keep hitting boss enemies in the head and just delete them. It's crazy. Now moving on to my sidearm. Again, you can use whatever sidearm you want. I'm using the Orbit pistol, which is my favorite pistol to use, or placeholder pistol if I don't have one in mind specifically for a build. I just love throwing this on. Once again, I have damage targets out of cover rolled on mine, and then there are the mods if you're interested, and it comes with Perfect Finisher. Again, this is a Dark Zone exclusive though, so if you don't have it, just throw whatever you want on, which goes into the disclaimer I like to use for all my build videos, or any video in general, which is please use my builds as just a base template, and make any changes that you see fit, whether that's the specialization, weapons, gear, or skills. It's really up to you. It's all about experimenting, having fun, at least for me. But yeah, please feel free to make any changes you want. Now that's it for the weapons. Moving on to the gear, I'm going to start off with the gear set, and I'm using the Hotshot gear set, which you can farm countdown for. Just set the targeted loot to Hotshot, and then there you go. You can start farming for a set. And now let's go over the gear set bonuses. So when you have two pieces of the Hotshot gear set, you get plus 30% marksman rifle damage and plus 30% weapon handling. So important for this build. And then with three pieces of the Hotshot gear set, you get plus 30% headshot damage. Again, just ramping up all our other damage, and we want to try and get as much headshot damage as we possibly can. But for the most important reason why we have this gear set is for the 4-piece bonus, which is called Headache. And what Headache does is first headshot with a marksman rifle will increase the next headshot by 20%. Second consecutive headshot with a marksman rifle will give plus 10% armor. If at full armor, it will give bonus armor up to a max of 50% of current armor value, which is really handy for survivability, or just to have some more survivability. It's not crazy, but anything helps. And then the third consecutive headshot will refill the magazine, which is really nice, especially with having all of the... let's open up the map just to show you the global directives on. I have all of them active, and it's really handy for ammo hoarders. I'm not going to read it out, but you can pause and read the description down below under all of them right there, but it comes in real handy for that specifically. Now, moving on to the final bit. From the fourth headshot forward, agents will get all 3 bonuses for each consecutive headshot kill. Missing a headshot will reset the cycle. So just keep getting headshots, which is really easy again with Determined, where you get your first headshot, you can just keep hitting shots anywhere and it will count as a headshot, which is really nice to just have such strong synergy between the builds. Now, for the core attribute, I have plus 13% weapon damage on the hotshot mask. In the regular attribute, I have plus 10% headshot damage and a plus 10% headshot damage mod rolled into it. Now, moving on to the hands, we don't need to go over the gear set bonus. And the core attribute, I re-rolled for 170,000 armor. You can keep this weapon damage if you want. I just wanted to be close to 1,000,000 armor, just because having 1 blue core felt a little bit more survivable. Having 1 less makes it to where enemies can really take you out quickly. You could even throw on another armor core on any part of this build to help out and get close to, or if not past 1,000,000. It really does help. And you still will have plenty of damage with or without it, but up to you. In the regular attribute, I have 8.7% headshot damage. For the hotshot knee guards, I have 13.3% weapon damage in the core attribute and plus 10% headshot damage re-rolled in the regular attribute. For the holster, the hotshot holster, I have 14.9% weapon damage in the core attribute and plus 10% headshot damage in the regular attribute. Now moving on to the chest piece, I am using the Chain Killer Walker Harris named chest piece. This is very vital in the build once again. In the brand set bonus, for having 1 equipped, we get plus 5% weapon damage, so it just helps out with our damage all that much more. The core attribute, I have plus 15% weapon damage. In the regular attributes, I have 8.3% headshot damage, 8% weapon handling, and 9.7% headshot damage mod in the mod slot. Now, for the weapon handling, it's really handy for sniping, as well as any secondary or anything that you might want to put on, like SMGs wise. It really helps with everything, and you can see that it will affect where is under any weapon, you can see it will help affect the accuracy and stability and the reload time, which really helps just with everything all that much more. But the main reason why we're using this chest piece is for the talent Perfect Headhunter, and after killing an enemy with a headshot, your next weapon hit within 30 seconds deals an additional 150% of that killing blow's damage. Damage is capped to 800% of your weapon damage. This is raised, however, to 1,250% if your headshot damage is greater than 150%. So again, that's why we want as much headshot damage as possible, because at least we want to get past that 150%. Anything more is just extra damage. But for example, we're going to go over this the skills in just a little bit, but I have 380 48% headshot damage, so more than double than the requirement to get that. That's why, again, I said you can change out some of the headshot damage for other things, but I wanted to accumulate as much damage as I could figure out with this build. There could be possibly more builds with higher damage, but this hits like a truck and just deletes enemies, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. Now, again, that's why I'm using this, and again, that's why it has such good synergy with Determined, because, for example, if I get a headshot, boom, and then you just need that one headshot, so I highly recommend prioritizing red to purple enemies, like normal to veterans. And then you can see here's elite. I just one shot delete that. And then let's go to named enemies, which are bosses slash mini bosses. Boom, just one shot kill. You can see like DPS right there, damage last hit. Boom, it's about like 19 million health, and if you can see the damage number real quick, I'm hitting about 24 million, so way more than necessary to just obliterate the enemy. It's just a lot of fun. Now let's move on to the skills, and then we can, well, real quick, I'll just show you. This is great. So if I hit like a body shot, there we go. Let's reset that for named enemies. If I want to start off with like a named enemy and hit it, see, I don't have enough damage to outright kill it without building up my headhunter stacks. But with that, I still don't have enough, even after one stack. You basically have to kill 2 enemies to hit a named enemy. But what's handy about this is I might not outright kill it. Actually, let's reset it. There we go. Alright. Boom. That's 12 mil. And then 2 shots, I should be able to finish it off, which is just 1 less shot, which is nice. And then if I want to charge it up again, that's at 33 mil. If I charge it up one more time, that was like 48 mil. So this thing can climb even way higher for damage, which is great for building up your stacks and just bossing and killing enemies. But with this, because it doesn't have determine, you have to land every one of your headshots or it will reset, just so you're aware. Alright, moving on to the skills. I'm using the decoy, which is really handy to just throw out and get enemies' attention off you, and they'll more than not stay stationary. You can use the striker drone too to kind of do the same thing, but it's moving all over the place and sometimes makes the enemy move, while this, from my experience, makes them stand still and just focus because the decoy doesn't move and everything, which makes landing shots that much easier. So that's why I'm using that. And then I have the Reviver Hive. You can switch this out for whatever you want, whether it's a striker or healing drone to keep you alive if you're having struggle surviving. I just like having the extra life because it comes in handy if enemies sneak up behind you or something like that. You know, just things happen, and having that extra life really makes the difference. Now again, with the global cooldowns, I just want to point out, cool skills, when one skill is activated, the other is put on cooldown. So if you have all global directives active, if you throw out your decoy, for example, like in combat, boom, you can see right there, skill haste is enabled, so it would be actually closer to like 2+ minutes to do that. I'll disable it right now. But you can see as the example, I threw out my decoy and now my Reviver Hive is on cooldown. And if I were to use my Reviver Hive, my decoy would be on cooldown. So just keep that in mind. I wouldn't use your decoy until after you've used your Reviver Hive or have gone down, so it's not on cooldown. And then once it's on cooldown, you can throw out your decoy. You can see I just threw it out before it went off of cooldown, and then boom. Yeah, I still have it up and still can use decoy. So while it's on cooldown, you can use decoy as much as you want. So that's just my friendly tips. That's it for the skills and everything. Now let's move on to the stats and then final gameplay footage. So for weapon damage, I have 1,071,309 weapon damage. That's PvP. We're not using this for PvP, but there are the stats. 16% crit hit chance. You don't need a lot of crit hit chance with this build. It's more based around headshot damage, so it doesn't matter that there's a low amount of that. 40% crit hit damage, and most important, 348.7% headshot damage. Again, you need it to just be over 150%, so anything extra is just more damage, and you don't need to worry about that as long as you reach over the 150%, which you should have no problem with this build. And that's it for those stats. Now moving on to the offensive, I have 91.4% all weapon damage bonus, 59.1% marksman rifle damage bonus, 15% submachine gun damage bonus, and 15% pistol. Again, I like to use SMGs, but you can also switch out in the specialization for assault rifles or what have you. Just keep that in mind. We've already gone over the gear talents and brand set bonus, so we can move on to defense, and then we'll move on to the gameplay footage. So I have 913,000 armor, as you can see. Again, I would shoot around 1 million. It doesn't have to be exactly 1 million, but that just gives you a little bit more of a cushion to actually be able to maybe take one hit while you're sniping an enemy and whatnot. 335,000 max health, and that's pretty much it for all the stats. So thank you so much for everyone for watching. Please take care. Have a wonderful rest of your day/night. Be safe and have a good one. Bye.